welcome to another episode of Canid Confabulation. I'm your host, Beretta Darkwolf, and
I'm Ernic the Jackal.
And we are here to give you the news for the week, or anything that's happened in the past week or so since the last show that we find interesting. Now, Ernic over here, or Joe, he's filling in for Pond, or Kilroy, we're doing this on a Friday because tomorrow night is my Counter-Strike night, and we wouldn't be able to do it tomorrow. I'm a nerd. I do nerd-like things that involve computers and video games with friends, so I guess...
Not like the rest of us, like lift weights and sports.
No, actually, what you do is League of Legends. So do not even...
The world does not need to know that.
Yes, they do. Because if you're going to make fun of me, I can make fun of you.
League of Legends is a sport of the computer.
So what?
League of Legends is sports for computer people.
Explain this, please.
Because they have, like, the same championship, they have the competitiveness, you know?
I'm gonna just believe you because I don't know much about League of Legends. I just know my brother is really into it and he's a bro. So
yeah, see, it's the cool people who are nerds like League of Legends, and then
yeah, I like FPSs because they're easier. But if you haven't noticed, actually we have different pets out tonight, little plushes, because Ernic's is so tiny. It's this baby Jackal that is the only Jackal that he's found that's Jackal-like.
There really isn't any variety out there.
Yeah, I tried looking. I really tried looking for a Jackal plush, and there hasn't been any. But,
this guy here was made by the Coca-Cola company. If you can see the little tiny Coca-Cola bottle. I don't know why. Apparently...
Animals of the...
Africa.
Something like that for their Coca-Cola.
I think the country is Tunisia.
All irrelevant, because no one really cares, but...
Yeah.
I brought my little wolf out of the truck so he wouldn't feel too inferior compared to my big one. So we got the little wolf tonight and the little baby Jackal, all scrawny.
Do we gotta whip him out?
It's fun. No, not on live TV. Well, it's not actually live, but not on the internet. You can't do that. That's for red.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people do that to make a good money on it.
You're right. You are absolutely right, Joe. But we're getting way too sidetracked. But
right, we have an agenda.
We have an agenda. Yes. We have an agenda that we're going to go in some news for you guys. As you all know, a news agenda. But before we do that, I just want to know: did you do anything interesting this week at all? I'm gonna guess League of Legends.
No, actually.
Really?
No. It's been a lot of listening to music.
What did we do tonight?
Tonight we went to a show by a new up and coming band
called Ghost. Ghost BC in America. They are actually Ghost in Europe, but because somebody also has that name in America, it was probably nowhere near as good. They had to use the name Ghost BC when they marketed their product here. But they're like a theatrical band that is they sound like Blue Oyster Cult and Black Sabbath, but they sing about Satan. So the guy dresses up as a priest. No one knows his identity, and apparently they go through different members in his. He's like Emeritus II now.
He's the Dread Pirate Roberts of metal.
I don't even know what that is, but I'm just going to agree with you and say yes. But I'm sure somebody out there probably knows what you're talking about.
Probably. It's the Princess Bride.
But anyway, basically this band has, like, you don't know their identities at all, and they kind of just portray this image of, like, this satanic church kind of cult thing. And everyone's like, this band is getting big because it's so unique. It's got a great sound. They're reviving, like, the old-timey 70s metal, and they just got a great, like, it's like a Kiss kind of thing going. I think they're going to get really big, actually.
The way I put it
was
like,
a great show.
I usually am not a big fan of metal, but I absolutely love the show. I mean, they're really accessible, and just, it was an amazing show.
My ears are still ringing, actually, from the show. But, I'm sorry if I can't hear right now. It's terrible. It's probably going to affect my speech, but, you know, let's just move on, because I think people know about our week so far. I mean, I didn't do anything other than the concert, but
yeah, it's
the first article on the agenda for tonight is where is it? Coded message from the National Weather Service. Please pay us, in quotes. So apparently they encoded this message in one of their National Weather Service bulletins for Anchorage, Alaska, I think it was. No, Southwest Alaska. And apparently, I'll have the link up. I'll post the image. Apparently in this bulletin, if you line up all the letters of the first letters of the bulletin, they work out to be please pay us. And that's for the government shutdown right now, because they're currently not getting any funding.
If any group If any like location really needed the extra pay, it's the people who do weather in Alaska.
I know, it's the most random area that they don't get money anyway. There's no funding there.
And they probably have the worst weather.
Yeah, I mean, it's cold. It's cold. I would never live in Alaska.
It's cold. They have like fucking blizzards.
I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that they actually pay the people monthly to live there because nobody wants to live in Alaska.
Like you said, you got blizzards, you got
unless you
probably
really
terrible
enjoy it.
Waves and storms. You got random polar bear attacks. I'm sure that happens.
It's just, I think it's hilarious though that they literally encoded that message in there.
Yeah.
That somebody deciphered it. Somebody actually noticed it. Somebody was like, I'm gonna troll the crap out of them.
And who really pays attention enough to the weather?
I know, right? Some nerdy guys sitting at home. Old people.
Yes.
Old people cracked the Zodiac code.
Didn't they?
I don't know.
Teacher, I think
that was in the movie. I don't know if that actually happened, but it might have. That would have been funny though. Maybe it was.
What if
I don't know how much of that movie was actually based off of reality.
What if she cracked the code because she was the Zodiac?
Oh, that would have been the best twist for that movie ever.
I know, right?
If you haven't seen the Zodiac, please watch it. It's a great film. But we're going to move forth again because I just wanted to start the show with a really funny kind of article that I found. I thought that was humorous that the Weather Service actually did that to troll the government. They, hey, you guys need to start like managing your shit
and like giving us money for this dangerous work we're doing.
I mean, it's bad enough that they cut funding from PBS, which barely takes up any of their...
Did they really do that?
Yeah, a while ago. I think like...
I heard they're talking about it. I didn't know they actually did it.
I thought they did like a year or two ago. I'm pretty sure they actually cut funding or something. Something happened where they tried to like save on the budget and they actually cut funding from PBS, which was like... It's not going to help in the long span of things. If they want to cut money from the budget, they should have cut like military. We spend so much on our military, it's ridiculous.
They did actually cut a lot of the military.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't follow this. You read the news. I don't.
A lot of shit. I think it was 800,000 jobs from the Defense Department. Alone?
Yeah, but that was for the shutdown, though. I thought.
Yeah, it was.
Was it? Yeah, that's different. That's they only stay. It's only temporary though. It's not permanent. I don't think they actually cut them permanently.
If they might be. I mean,
I don't think so. I think it was just temporary.
No one does anything in Congress, which I don't see any indication that they're actually going to do anything.
So you think the government shutdown is going to last longer than just a little while?
Probably a couple months.
Well, whatever.
I would not be surprised.
So does that mean we don't get mail?
No, actually, I looked it up. We do actually get mail for some reason. It says they've been saying we won't, but I think that they decided we will anyways because that's too important a service.
Well, yeah, that's essential. That would really suck. Then FedEx.
I mean, packages come in.
I guess if you think about it, if you really think about it, the United States Postal Service is already suffering. So if they're not delivering mail, FedEx and UPS are gonna just make bank on that and already put them more into the ground than they already are. You know what I mean? Like that'd be pretty crappy. But I don't know, that whole government shutdown thing, I remember them talking about it like a year ago. They were saying that was going to happen, and then I thought it did happen, but then it kind of ended because they came to a consensus or whatever of like...
I don't recall that, but...
I thought it did. I thought they were talking about it. I swear I remember them saying something about that.
I haven't really paid much attention to the news since high school when I used to read the paper and study.
You pay more attention to it than I do, though, honestly. I don't,
a little.
I don't really follow... I don't even have cable anymore, man. I haven't watched the news. Like the only news feeds I get are like through Facebook because I'm subscribed to like my local Fox network and my local TMJ4 or the other network that's like the news station around by me. But let's move on. I think we spent enough time on the bulletin and the government. That's all I really want to talk about the government shutdown because I don't care.
So what else we got for the night?
What else do we have? That is a great question. The next article is, man says dog ate his money and the U.S. Treasury paid up. So, in this article, I'm going to summarize it because you don't really have to read it all to get the gist of it. But this guy had a wad of bills in his truck, I think it was, and it was like about $500 worth. And what ended up happening was his pet dog, when he went into somewhere, ended up just tearing this money apart because apparently he has a bad habit of eating paper. And he saw this wad and said, oh, free snack. So he ends up taking this money, chewing it all up, and basically eating it. And apparently when the guy came back from where he was, he knew it had happened because he saw the money kind of like all that remained was a tiny corner of a $100 bill and a $1 bill. So the dog ate everything but like $1.
Now that I actually think about this, because I've been told of this, and I just realized who the hell would leave $500 leaving out, just left out in their car. Like you go into somewhere, you leave out just $500 a stack.
Honestly, maybe if you was going to, we don't really know the reasoning behind that, but
with a dog that you know already likes to eat, that's almost suspicious to me, isn't it?
I don't think so. I think you're reading too much into this because I don't think it was made up. I think there's proof with the letter he got back and the check. I mean, I think you're turning this into a conspiracy when it's actually.
I'm not saying you're conspiracy, but it seems like
Ernic, you're digging. Stop digging. Jackals don't need to dig all the time. Stop digging. But apparently, anyway, he left this money out. The dog ate the money, and what ended up happening was. The guy didn't want to lose his $500, so instead, what ends up happening was he followed his dog around for I think about a week, and the dog would poop, and he'd take the poop, put it in a plastic bag, and save it for later to, I guess, sort through. And apparently he went into his backyard and used like soapy water and would wash out the money until he found the bits and pieces, and eventually he pasted it all back together and basically sent it into the U.S. Treasury Department because I think he went to his local bank, but they told him they couldn't do that. Mm-hmm. They couldn't exchange the cash, but he did piece the money back together. And he said he described it as being like a puzzle, which is hilarious. It was like him doing his little doggy poop money puzzle, and I find that pretty funny. But he ended up sending it to the Treasury, and then he didn't know if he was going to get anything back because he's kind of like, this is so ridiculous, there's no way they're going to believe him, because he had to write like a letter explaining why the money was destroyed or damaged in some way to get it exchanged. And he sent it in, and I think he didn't receive a response till about like 6 months later. Mm-hmm. But he did. He got a check in the mail for $500, giving him all his money back. And honestly, I think that's great.
That's not as plausible as you think it is. I mean, I've heard that as long as you have more than 51% of any particular bill.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just funny because, I don't know, I thought it was a humorous story because the dog, literally, you hear about dogs eating your homework, but not $500 or your savings or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that's funny to me. I don't know, it was just a lighthearted kind of story for the night, I guess, if that makes any sense. What do you think about that? Nothing, just that's it?
Like I said, I find it kind of weird that he left his car with $500 sitting out.
You say that. I'm just saying that I know you like to find the flaws in the story and look for things, but this next article I think you're really gonna enjoy because I think you were hyped up about having this in the. We discussed what news stories we were gonna talk about tonight, and this one really caught your attention. I think, right? Would you say so? Yeah.
I would say so.
You would say so. Okay. Apparently, SAT scores continue to decline. 57% of incoming freshmen are not ready for college, according to a study that was done.
Just a study.
What do you think about that exactly? What is your opinion on that? I'll go to the details in a second when I find them.
So, 50% or 57%.
Well, why do you think? What I'm asking is, why do you think that the students nowadays are not ready for college? Just based on the topic at hand.
You have the obvious like class sizes. Mm-hmm. Budget cuts around the board.
Teachers are they're understaffed.
Yes.
They're understaffed. Severely. Teachers are not really motivating the kids to learn, I think, is part of the problem. But they were saying that most kids nowadays going into certain fields, like I think they said, like where we go, the most popular degree tracks, education, they scored a 1442, with then psychology scoring a 1484 and business and management scoring a 1661 total on the SAT scores.
I honestly think that's because a lot of people usually like say they want to go into psychology.
I think they were just saying it's not where it really should be. Like they're saying that, well, people go into psychology. I know a friend of mine actually went into psychology just for the fact that they liked doing it. Mm-hmm. But then when they got out, they realized that degree really couldn't get them anywhere. So it was kind of like, I guess people need to start when they train kids to go to college. I think in the article they actually were describing the fact that in high school, when they're training you, they're not actually training and preparing you for college. So I guess your SAT scores are going to be lower because, like, for me at least, I didn't even take the SAT. I didn't take any of that stuff. I didn't care at all. But for the kids that did, I mean, you take it, and like I think the only kids that were prepared, they were saying, were the ones that took AP classes and like the classes that actually kind of trained you.
That was me.
Yeah, that was you. But you didn't even go to college either, so it was like you didn't have the money.
Not yet. Well, yeah.
Well, you didn't have the money. That's understandable. I mean, not a lot of people do. College is so expensive now; it's ridiculous.
It is.
But I just think it's ridiculous because, like, how are we supposed to advance as a civilization if college itself can't even our kids aren't even prepared for the future. Like, how do we expect? Like, it just seems destined to failure now. Like, if somebody doesn't fix the system,
All right, so how do you propose we fix it?
I don't know. I think, honestly, what I think with most schooling nowadays, I think a lot of the problem lies in the fact that we're training kids more or less to just memorize. Not so much, like, gear them towards a career goal or anything of that sort. More or less, that we just expect them to learn something, memorize it, and then take a test and prove that they memorized something. And they're not actually interested in what they learned about. Like, not everyone's interested in math. Granted, I think there should be a basis in math. You should be able to take, base courses and show that you can at least learn something and understand it. But I think we should kind of say, hey, take a little bit of time each day in school to, like, form a plan. Like, I think they tried to do that in our high school. They tried to say, well, what are your career goals? But nobody really actively tried. They kind of had it as, like, a sidestep, I think, in, like...
It's more to show that, hey, look, we're doing stuff, but we're not really trying.
They need to say, hey, what are you interested in? And then they say, here are we need the teachers to just show you the careers. Because I guess when I was in school, I remember thinking, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what options out there. You just hear about the main ones, like police officer and, like, lawyer and
fireman and space.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's all these other jobs that you could do that might be up your alley that actually pay quite well that nobody knows about. Like, honestly, a garbage man makes a lot of money. Like, if you like, I guess you don't really have to do that much work, and it's kind of like, I don't know, just there are careers that exist. Like, they aren't training skilled trades anymore. You know what I mean? Like, machining, like, there are very few schools that actually teach you any kind of metalworking in general.
It's funny because the ones that do are usually considered like the stupid class, like the stupid
exactly, because it's a prestigious thing, and people feel that, like, that's
people
not valued.
Think that's dirty. Like,
exactly,
real jobs are no longer worth anything to society.
I just think it's a little ridiculous because there are a lot of other careers out there that I think the school needs to, like, lay forth. I think maybe there needs to be, like, a system where, like, these kids maybe take, like, a little test on their interests, and then it kind of formulates like a calibration or whatever, and it tells you, well, there's all these careers you can pick from.
Well, there's something like that.
And then I think that maybe there should be a guidance counselor or something that actually knows about this. Like, somebody needs to be specialized in career options.
You didn't actually go through this? There's actually a career. You never took the career test.
No, they didn't teach me that. I'm absolutely serious. They really didn't.
How did you avoid the career test?
They never had it. What did you take that in?
I think it was one of my English class.
No, they never did this for me at all.
I'm pretty sure that's been going on since,
I'm serious, I never did this.
Like the last 50 years.
No, really, we didn't do it.
That's funny.
The nearest I had to anything career related, I think, was in my English class. They had us decide what we wanted to do with our future, and I think we had to write down 3 options. And I just picked random stuff that I kind of knew, and I ended up being in machining anyway. But I'm like, maybe there was other, like, careers out there that I didn't know about that I might have liked more, you know what I mean?
I think mine, you picked one. No, it was, you chose 3, or no, you took a test and it gave you 3 options.
Oh, did it?
And I got, like, special forces for the military.
Really?
Yes.
Why? Why did you get special forces?
Because, I don't know, apparently
Were you
I'm
Solid Snake? What is this? It's ridiculous.
Apparently I'm just that badass, but anyways.
What's that noise?
I can't even really remember the other 2 because just that one was so badass.
Well, I personally, I think I picked tool and die maker, machinist, and then maybe police officer, because that was my, like, dream goals. But it's like, I don't know, like, I just think the schooling system needs to cater more towards, like, give them the basics, at least through kindergarten through middle school. And then in high school, kind of start more treating it as college. Like, still kind of give them ground courses, maybe 9th through 10th grade. But as soon as you get into 11th to 12th, start, like, integrating them into that college mindset where they need to really start to think about what they want to do, so more people actually have fun learning things, you know what I mean? Like, I was interested in history. That was actually a class I didn't mind. I didn't care as much about English. Granted, I picked it up pretty easy, but I didn't care about it. I didn't care about math at all. So obviously I didn't study. I didn't do well. It was just kids, if you want a successful society or child and you want them to do well, have them do what they like. You got to find something that they're interested in. Find the best option for them. You got anything to say about that? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree?
I don't know about that, but personally, my views on the whole thing is that I feel like it stems from a need. Obviously schools aren't doing well, but to fix it, the leadership is deciding to take, like, a business model almost method of solving the problem, like trying to make everything so much more efficient, but it's like no one realizes that government program, government in general, is not a business.
I know.
It's the whole point is to make money.
Everything looks as like people look at everything as a business though nowadays.
I mean, people say, "Oh, government's spending money." Well, that's what it's made.
That's
to
why.
do.
Well, see, that's why
it's
so
made
scary
to give to people.
I know, but that's why it's so scary about the prison systems nowadays, because some of them are actually privatized now. You know that?
Yeah, and that's terrible.
So they get money for you actually being incarcerated in there, and that's dangerous. That's pretty outrageous, and something needs to be done about that.
And then they pay the politicians, and then
I just think that if anything, we're leading towards a more. I guess we're leading towards a more. We're leaning towards a breakthrough. I think eventually we're going to come to our senses and realize all the flaws, and whether things come crashing down or whatnot. I think that we're leading towards a change. Something's going to happen where we're going to eventually fix everything. You know what I mean? Like I think that we get burned, and we're going to learn from our issues.
Want to know the scary part?
What is the scary part?
People have been saying that for the last 300 years.
Who says? Where'd you hear that?
All throughout the Industrial Revolution, you have Thoreau.
You don't think we're better than we were back then, though? I think there was a time in the 50s, 40s. Well, I guess not, because there was the atomic bomb. But I mean, like, I don't know. I think gradually as a species, well, it actually leads us to our question. I totally forgot to say this at the beginning of the show, which makes me feel bad. And that was our topic of tonight. And our main topic, which is the second half of the show. I'm so sorry, I totally forgot, but it's going to be in the beginning anyway. They're going to see what it is, but I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the show. But is humanity destined to self-destruct? So it's like, are we leading ourselves to disaster? And that's a great subject for the second half. I know Ernic over here is prepped and ready to talk about it. This guy is prepared. He loves a good debate. So that might end up happening, but I think our next topic's actually going to be I don't know, but not the future one, the fifth one.
Well, what we got?
The fifth one. The fourth one after the last one we just did. We're now on, did this teacher cross the line? Apparently this woman, Cynthia Ambrose, was accused of ordering her kindergarten students to hit another student. Basically, it was a video article that we had found, but it was about this woman who was a teacher in her kindergarten class, and there was a kid apparently that was bullying other kids, and what had happened was she got word of it. Like, I think someone from the school said, "Hey, this kid's being a douche, and you should discipline your kids." So she's like, "Well, I guess so. I guess I can do that." So she ended up, I guess.
Actually, what I understood happened, this kid wasn't even in the class. He was
in the class.
No, he wasn't. He was part of something. He was led into that class by a completely different teacher, remember?
Yeah, but he was still in the class, though. He was led into the class. I got it, he was in the class.
I was under the impression that he was not in the class.
No, he was in the class. It was his class.
All right.
Yes, he was in the class. He wasn't let in there for no reason. He was in the class, and what had happened was this kid was bullying other kids, so the teacher was told to do something about it. So what she did was she ended up saying, "Hey, I'm going to bring you to..." This was her manner of discipline, and was bringing the kid to the front of the class and saying, "Hey, bullying's not right." And then she told the classmates, as they're all basically isolating this kid now at the front of the class, saying, "Hey, you don't like to be bullied, right?" Well, apparently this kid was hitting other kids or something, and she was like,
some girls, pick some boys,
something like that. That's exactly what they said. And it was like, "Hey, you don't like being bullied. Well, how does it feel like to get punched and kicked or whatever? You want to come up here and punch him? Who wants to come up here and punch him?" And that's what she said. And apparently the kids took it literally and went up and started punching him. And she says only one kid did it. And
there's a whole lot of
it's a lot of messed up. And you have to actually watch the video to really understand. I'm not going to post it here because I don't know if they would like that, but
in general,
you go on.
First off, the teacher suspended, of course, and then the mom of the child who got hit,
they bummed out, of course,
was out for blood.
All mothers are. You know, their baby was just hit by a bunch of kids. But I think what's happening is, I guess the way I saw it was, the kid was hit, right, by the other kids. And according to the kid, he was hit by all the students, right? And she apparently let this happen. And then even one of the teachers who led the kid into the room from the office said that she let him hit let the other kids hit him. And I guess it ended up like the teacher was then suspended. And she said she didn't want it to get that out of hand. It wasn't supposed to happen that way. She said none of the kids were actually supposed to do it. It was supposed to just be an example.
And there's also there's another conflicting view where another witness claimed that the teacher was actually egging the kids on.
That was probably the staff member that let the kids on.
Yes, that was.
Sure it was. But
it was.
It ended up like the mother that found this out wanted this woman not only to lose her job, but it went to court.
She wanted her to go to jail for 2 years and then spend another 2 years on probation where she couldn't teach. She basically wanted to ruin the person's career forever.
I think what it comes down to is what you said, where everyone was out for blood. And I'm not sure what to make of this story because you hear about that and it's like, yeah, the teacher was out of line when she did that. Like, apparently she was kind of a bitch of a teacher to begin with. Like,
she was
none of the
an
kids,
authoritarian. She was a tough teacher,
right.
You know, an old school tough
unnecessary.
teacher.
And she seemed upset about it in the video, but at the same time, I know she's probably lying just to hold her job because she's saying there's it's all hearsay.
So you have the teacher that's probably lying.
Yeah, the teacher that's probably lying.
Because she
probably didn't let the kids hit them.
Even though there's witnesses that said that there are multiple kids hitting the bully.
The courts believed it though, because obviously she lost her job.
Yeah, and then the teacher claimed that it was only one kid and the bully got hit once.
Right.
And that's probably a lie.
Well, I just think my personal opinion was yes, the teacher was out of line when that happened. Did she need to lose her job? Yes. But did she need to never be able to teach again? No. Like, I just think, like, hey, she could have moved on. I think she would have learned her lesson from that point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think stopping her from teaching forever is not... And now she's got no job. Like, she spent her whole life trying to teach. It was one of her life goals. Like,
she had been a teacher for, I believe it was 11 years.
Is that what they said? I don't remember. I don't remember the exact date, but I'm glad you remembered it. But I'm just like... That's more, it's like it goes to like you said, out for blood. It's like unnecessary. Like, there comes a point when a punishment becomes too far, and I've talked about this on earlier shows with other things, but you were going to say something.
See, to me, this is a nice little game I like to call Who's the Villain? Because you have three people who I believe are just really terrible people. You have the bully, who obviously has been terrorizing his classmates. You have the teacher who went too far. And then you have the mother who also is going way too far and trying to just destroy this person to have them branded a monster when her child's probably, honestly, a terrible...
monster, probably, too, because the kid did say that. I thought it was funny, was in the segment they asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like the news anchor, the 2020 guy comes up and he goes, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the kid goes, a football player. I was like, you know that kid's a douchebag jock. I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, this is too perfect. But it just goes, it's like... Basically, everyone in this article is terrible. Everyone in this article.
Who do you think is the main villain here? Like, I think there is one?
This is a good question. I'm going to think about this for a minute. I'm going to let you, because you have an opinion. What do you think? Who do you think is the main villain? Because I feel like you've decided your opinion.
Honestly, I think it might be the mother.
You think so? But why? Explain that.
Well, the teacher, even if she did it the wrong way, I honestly think that the kid probably deserved it. He probably, maybe not in that way, maybe not by an authority figure to be punished that way, but he certainly deserved to be struck down and humiliated and have that power that he's been, collecting through violence stripped away from him.
Right.
Because, I mean, he'll know now that he can never do that again.
See, what I would say maybe the kid is the most at fault because he kind of started the whole thing. But you can't change a bully. A bully's always a bully. So really, I think in the long run, the teacher's at fault. You know what I mean? I believe she went out of line when she did that. And yes, she was stupid thinking that this wouldn't go home. It's like the kid who's being abused at school isn't going to go home and tell his parents. Like, that's true. That was dumb on her part, in my opinion. It was just stupid. It was like, if you didn't think this kid was going to say something, you're fucking nuts. So whether or not it went out of line or whatever, what you did was dumb. What she had done was dumb. So really, I think in general the teacher was at fault. Really, it was a kid, but you can't blame a kid because he's young.
I still say it's the mother because she's encouraging this behavior. She's saying, "Oh my kid."
So you're saying this kid should have been raised better? It all stemmed from the mother.
Probably because she's the way that she completely dismissed his unacceptable behavior. That means something,
right?
That means that he's. I mean, if he's
not every mother wants to believe their kid's an angel. I mean, that's how it works. I'm serious, dude. That's how it works. That's how it works. I'm absolutely serious.
Are you saying you never got punished?
Yes, I did, but that was only because you didn't do what your mom wanted. It wasn't because some other person, like, if you get told by, if basically it's like saying, hey, your kid's terrible by another person, and of course the mom's gonna say, fuck you, my kid's an angel.
Okay, so you're saying that the mom is like
her sticking up.
Everything about her has been wounded to her.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
All right.
That's why she's reacting the way she is right now. You know.
Then
what I
maybe
mean?
it's not her fault, but I still think that she's like the key.
I know what you're saying. Absolutely, yeah. Because she raised the kid, and the kid's a douche.
So I'm going to give you another hard question. What would you have done as a teacher?
Nothing, because you can't cheat. I would have probably scolded the kid. All right, if I was a teacher, I would have scolded the kid in private. Granted, that wouldn't have changed him. He still would have done it. He probably would have become more of a douche.
But then you have to watch as this kid terrorizes these other kids that you care about. Could you live with that?
That's why I'm not a teacher, because I don't want to deal with that. Kids are terrible people anyway. They haven't developed, and I'm serious. A lot of kids are monsters to other kids.
That's true. That's a proven fact.
You're your most meanest. That's exactly. That's when you're learning.
You don't realize
you're learning your character, and you're learning what you can take advantage of, what you can bully, what type of person you are, and it's all development. You're worried too much about yourself. Apparently, I remember where I heard this, but in your youth, your brain's less developed, and actually you're more self-conscious about like everyone else's opinion of you at that time. Like you're more worried about how you appear to other people. So I guess if you becoming a bully is the way that you make yourself feel more important and better about yourself, then that's how it is. You know what I mean? So
all right. So I suppose I wouldn't blame the kid because we've all done stuff that we've regretted as children.
Right. We all have, absolutely. But that's a good article. I liked where that one went. No, I know you. It was your idea to put that in there. I thought it was all right, but good choice.
All right.
Next one on the agenda. This one's good. This is a good one. This is another video article, but it's the you might have heard about this because this is big news right now. So we're at the fifth article, top of the news for today, and that is the road rage incident with the New York City motorcycle attack in New York, of course. And I'm just gonna give you a rundown since it was a video article.
I am personally appalled by the way that the media is clearly choosing sides.
You can go into that in a second. I'm just gonna give them a summary of what happened. So apparently there's like a biker. I'm gonna be as neutral as possible. I'm not gonna sway it anyway. So I know you're thinking.
There were some stunt drivers.
Right, okay. All right.
Not bikers.
All right. Yeah. Correct. All right. There was stunt drivers, we'll say. They're a bunch of bikers that got together. Now they're crotch rocket riders. They do a lot of stunts and activities, and they come together as a group. Maybe let's say
it's a flash mob at 80 miles per hour.
Yeah, flash mob at 80 miles per hour. Sure. Yeah, there you go. So it's like 40 or so bikers, all on crotch rockets. And what they do is they go around from city to city and they do stunts and things and kind of make themselves known. And I think one of their antics was like, they stopped a whole highway, and they had one of the biker guys propose to his wife on the highway, and then as he tore off, he peeled out with a bunch of pink smoke coming off. So I thought that was kind of cool. But anyway, this biker stunt crew drove through this highway area in New York, and they ended up coming across a SUV, right? Mm-hmm. So there was an SUV driver driving along, and they all kind of surrounded the guy, right? Probably, I think they're either continue going and they were trying to be funny. Well, what happens is one of the bikers has a helmet on with a camera. He's recording all of this. Mm-hmm. And this biker in front of this SUV driver decides to slow down. And apparently the SUV driver did not notice him slowing down at all. So the dude clips the guy. He rolls over and crashes his bike, and the SUV comes to a stop. Well, I'm not even going to describe what I think of it, but I'm just going to describe what the video sees so you can understand, because I know what side I'm taking. I don't want to ruin it for you. But then you see the guy with the camera looking back at the SUV and all the bikers around him, and the SUV just peels out and drives over 3 bikers.
Well, first they bump the first biker, and then they roll over him to a.
No, that's not what happened. No, that's not what happened at all. It wasn't the first biker that was rolled over. It was another biker that was in front of him.
I thought it was.
No. It was another biker that was in front of him. It was they clipped that one biker who was knocked off his bike, and then the other bikers came to assist him. There were 3 bikers in front of him. One of them was in front of his bike, and when the other biker started to come up to the guy, he peeled out in his SUV and drove over a different biker on another bike. So he drove off, ran over 3 bikes and a biker, causing the guy severe spinal damage and internal bleeding, broken ribs.
He might not survive.
He might be paralyzed. He's in critical condition still.
He could still die.
So anyway, he gets away, and these guys start chasing him. All the bikes just tear after him. You know what I mean? They're like, this guy just drove over my friend.
They follow him for who knows how many miles.
Now, mind you, let's give you an idea of who was in the SUV. it's a guy, his wife, and a kid. So it's not just one dude. It's a family.
Correct.
And this is all going on. And now he's running from these biker guys that are chasing him. He ends up getting tied up in like a traffic jam.
He actually gets set up 3 times, and he eventually, the first 2 he manages to get away. But
yeah, the first one, the guy tried to open the door, and then he locked his door so they couldn't get inside.
Yeah.
He ends up stopping in a traffic jam, and then the biker guy tries to break the window because he couldn't get in the door anymore. So he's trapped now. The biker breaks the window, rips the guy out of the car, and apparently they beat him up to the point where he just needs stitches. He wasn't like critically wounded or anything. He was just, wounded and needed stitches, and his wife's freaking out, and apparently there's security camera footage, and that's when they didn't get any of the beating on tape. The helmet guy who had the camera actually stopped recording for that part, but I guess what it comes down to is what you believe happened. And I would like to hear your opinion of what you think happened first, because yours is interesting.
All right.
I don't agree with it, but it's interesting.
So the assumption is that this guy, he hits the first biker, and then...
Do you want me to tell the assumption first? Because I agree with the assumption.
All right, go with the assumption.
Because I know yours is a differing viewpoint of it. Well, okay. In my personal opinion, from what is seen on the tape, it's a little Asian man and his wife and his baby in the car, and they're driving on the highway. Well, from what you see is this biker tries to cause trouble and fuck with the driver in front of him, because apparently this guy's done that in the past, according to police reports. The dude slams on his brakes and slows down while looking behind him at the SUV. He gets caught under the tire because, in that situation, being a scared little Asian man behind the wheel of a big SUV, he's like looking around and seeing all these bikers around him. He probably didn't notice the guy in front of him slowing down, so he ends up hitting him. I mean, if you got a surrounding of bikers, don't say anything until I'm done. If you got a surrounding of bikers in front of you, and one slows down and you're looking over there, you might not notice that guy, so he clipped him. Apparently he came to a stop, and according to the driver of the SUV, he said they came up and started beating his truck and slashing his tires. So he, in a fear, he was fearing for his life because he just hit one of those guys, thinking they're a biker gang, peels out, drives over 3 bikes and a biker, and now they're on a road rage thing across the thing. So in my opinion, I would, you tell your side of the story, because
let me just blow your whole mind right now.
All right, blow my mind.
Why didn't he lock his door?
From the beginning?
If you're surrounded by bikers,
if you're in a panic state,
no, the first thing you do if you see, yes,
would you be the expert of this? Has this happened to you?
I've been in neighborhoods where I didn't want to be in. I locked my door.
No, a panic situation, not just a casual panic, like a casual fear, a panic.
I'm just saying that most people, when they're afraid at all, like if I was surrounded by bikers,
panic situation. This was a panic.
I honestly think even then he would lock his door.
I don't think so. This is a panic situation, Joe. Completely different.
So you're saying he panics, he hits the bike, he almost kills the guy, and then he runs away assuming that he's going to get his ass kicked.
Yeah. He stopped though. That's the real thing, is he stopped after he hit the biker. What you're saying is that he fled because he didn't want to face charges. That's my opinion.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I think
why did he leave then?
You're right. He was afraid, but he wasn't right to be, because he assumed that it was the Hells Angels.
You're right. They weren't.
These were internet pranksters.
Yeah. It's possible. The video doesn't tell much. There's no real way to know for sure why he fled, but I don't think the guy would lie to say he fled. See, I don't know, dude. You have to see, there's a lot of evidence here. There's a lot of evidence here that needs to be going through.
How fast was the guy going originally? How fast was that SUV going? Because
it looked highway speeds. From the video, it looked highway speeds.
Because, I've gone behind people who look like they're weaving and just being douchebags, and I've slowed down to slow them down, just as a sort of petty, now I slowed you down. And I don't, so I sort of sympathize with the person who was, slowing down in front of the SUV.
Right.
Because, oh, look, you got an SUV, you think you're so tough.
What was his, right, so he drove off out of fear, but it was fear, unnecessary fear.
It was. It was based on an assumption.
So what about the bikers then for chasing after him? Was that justified?
Maybe not justified, but I would, if my best friend, if someone I cared about was critically injured by a driver, I would be mad. I might be on the edge of violence.
No, I probably wouldn't. You're probably right about that.
I'm probably not going to be driving 60 miles to follow this guy to kick his ass. But I don't know, I would do something. I would follow him at least.
Right.
Actually, I probably would, because then, I mean...
So, for beating him up, they didn't really severely injure him. I guess it wasn't really, like, an eye for an eye. It was just like, fuck you, dude.
It was shock almost. It had to be. Like, what else are you going to do? This guy drove off. He injured you. He almost killed your friend.
I am still believing, though. I know you're trying to say the media is trying to sway it more towards...
Because there is a bias against bikers.
There is, but...
It doesn't show it up very often.
I really believe that. I don't think the dude's lying about the fact that they tried to attack his car. I guess more evidence has to come out. I mean, no... I want to hear the viewer's opinion. I mean, this is an article that really kind of interested me because it was so different. Who expects a biker, like, group... Like, I want to say gang, but I know that sways it towards my side. But a biker stunt crew to surround their vehicle. I think really whose fault it was that guy was a douchebag for slowing down. It's irrelevant whether or not, I don't care about the fact that the guy drove over the other dude and tried to get away, or if he was even attacked. That guy started that whole thing. The bikers started that. Whether or not he was right for peeling out of there, the bikers started that.
I think you have to understand, like...
Fucking with people?
No, I mean...
The guy was fucking with
what's
him.
starting, like, we don't see what happened before that. We really don't.
Well, according to one of the interviews, one of the interviews was saying that the guy was driving bad, so they surrounded him.
Yeah, that's what
Why would you want to be near a guy who's driving terribly?
Because they assume...
No, not at all. It's really I really believe I guess I'm more leaning towards the couple, the family in the car, because the bikers started it. They started it. They started that whole thing.
I think that's a better opinion of what started.
That never had to happen if they didn't start that. Granted, whether or not he was being attacked, whether or not,
I think
this guy was driving badly.
Escalation of people being stupid.
Everything's always an escalation of people being stupid. But I really believe that the bikers started this, and this didn't have to happen because they started it. They are at fault for all of this. That one guy is at fault for all of this. That one guy is responsible for it's not the SUV driver.
The guy that almost died, or the guy that got bumped.
The guy that got bumped. It's his fault for starting this. He is the reason his friend is in the hospital right now, and I will believe that to this day.
I don't know if the guy hadn't peeled out.
It doesn't matter. No, if that guy had, who's first? No, it started because he hit that guy. If that guy never would have gotten hit,
bumped him, but there's no guarantee that they weren't going to beat him up over that.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Joe. It doesn't matter at all. Ernic. My opinion stands wholeheartedly that the bikers are completely at fault here. Completely.
All right. Then my opinion for the record is, if you ram someone in front of you, even if they slow down, you're supposed to be watching the front of.
Yeah,
that's the most important part.
He was saying earlier when we went over this, he was saying that, like,
any insurance company would agree with me that front end damage is always the drive. It's always the person who is driving.
You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Yeah, front end damage is always considered your fault, no matter what. If you hit a guy and he slams on his brakes in front of you, it's still your fault because
I've had that happen where people slammed on the brakes for no reason, and I've actually ruined a car that way.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. That was a bad car, though. It was on its last leg anyway. It's all right. No one feels bad that you ruined a Geo Metro. Nobody cares that you ruined a Geo Metro. But
I think that it all happened because this Asian dude had false assumptions about a group of people based on a terrible stereotype.
I like that we differ on opinions here because it really brings two sides of the story, and I do disagree with the fact that the news isn't... Like, I think there was actually a news article which kind of didn't really side with either. Like, maybe they were slightly swayed towards the couple because it was more of a better story to say, couple randomly attacked by rogue biker gang, you know what I mean? But, like... Yes, I understand that it could be a panic attack on this guy's fault, and it was unjustified.
I think it was just a tragic. I mean, if you're talking about what the media is doing to it,
well, yeah,
they're trying to get ratings. That's all they ever do.
Yes, but I'm just saying, who's really at fault is the dude who started it, and that would be the first biker who got in front of the guy and slowed down to mess with him, because you passed an SUV, you slowed down. The dude's looking behind him. He knows what he's doing. He's trying to scare the guy. They were trying to get him to come to a stop.
So I think the real question is, when this guy, if he pulls through, and I'm rooting for him, I really am. If he sees that, if the guy looking at the SUV saw that the driver was staring at him, then that would mean a lot, don't you think?
But the guy who's in the hospital isn't the dude who looked behind him.
All right, so do we actually?
No, I'm pretty sure he was. No, the dude.
No, I mean, do we know if? Like, obviously this guy was looking...
There's only one guy in critical condition.
No, I'm saying something completely different.
Do you know the guy was looking at him?
Yes,
No, we
if we
don't.
interview him.
No, we don't, but I saw the biker looking behind him.
Yeah, if we interview that biker that was looking
I just don't know why he slowed down. I just say,
I think we need to get his story if we're
But they
ever...
can't find him. That's the problem, is they couldn't find the people for the thing. I like how you finished your drink right away, but we're gonna have to move forward here. All right, we're almost out of halftime here. We're about to go to the half, and you actually finished right on time.
Yep.
You timed that out better than I did, sadly. But you got anything to say before we go to the half, and we can talk about, is humanity destined to self-destruct on itself, or will we proceed to a newer future of happiness and transfer to another planet or whatever? You think pull out the pumpkins? This man is celebrating Halloween because we're starting October now, a little early, but right on time, I guess. I'd rather celebrate the holiday month in the month rather than like 3 months before.
How are you going to enjoy it?
Right, exactly. You gotta extend it out a little bit. And Halloween's a great holiday. Honestly, it's way better than Easter. Easter is such a boring holiday. Rabbits pooping out eggs. Are you kidding me?
Easter's like, I think right behind St. Valentine's as a kid.
Who cares about St. Valentine's? I don't even know what that is.
As a kid, it's stupid.
I mean Valentine's Day.
It's a little...
Nobody calls it St. Valentine's, Joe.
Shut up.
You do, because you're overly unnecessarily
I came from a Catholic school.
Oh, so everything's about church outside of church.
And like, it has to be saint everything, and St. Patty's Day.
Okay, right. Well, anyway, instead of the drunk holiday, which is what we're doing now. But we will be back after the break. Please enjoy Joe Somebody with his strange combos in my mouth. We get to find out what he's concocting today. So we will be back. Thank you for joining with us.
This week's combo is another trick. It's not really cookies, ice cream, and weed, just like it wasn't sweating balls with the ice cream I had long ago. But I do have some items that are of that line, so it's still okay? Anyways, what we have here is limited edition Oreo sherbet, of all things. Quite something. Vanilla cookie with sherbet flavored icing, I guess. I mean, this cookie just smells like sherbet ice cream. It is ungodly how uncanny it is. It is so creepy, I am telling you. Did I say that it smells like sherbet? I think I did. It's honestly okay. I bought this on a whim because I suddenly realized I really like Oreo cookies and I wanted some in my mouth, and then I saw this and I was like, it could be okay, it could be a nice replacement. It wasn't, but it's honestly okay. I can't really complain too much. The other item, the weed if you will, is the Jeremiah weed iced tea malt beverage whatever. They actually do have good old-fashioned plain whiskey. This is a variation to get people onto it, I suppose. I'll have to try it. This is okay as well. Sort of like Mike's Hard Lemonade. It's something to wean you onto the alcohol. It's tasty and is a little like Arizona iced tea if you added some whiskey. And you can really taste it, might I say. So this wouldn't be a proper combo if we didn't put them together. As it goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in this bowl here. We're going to set it in. And we're going to pour a Jeremiah wheat on it and mix it up together. Make it all moist with malt, liquor, alcohol. This should be milk. It really should be. I want it to be milk. My last experiment with mixing things together with alcohol didn't go too well, but this is something, you know, might be interesting. Ooh, now it's all soggy. Ugh. Oh. Okay. The thing people like about Oreos is dumping them in milk, because it adds up moisture to make them all mushy and tasty and stuff, right? That's what this is. It's reminding me of why I like Oreos, besides, you know, the crunchy goodness, which is its own taste and texture and wonderfulness, if you will. But this reminded me of that, so I'm going to get myself some real Oreos and some milk, and some real milk for these cookies in the future. Because that's a combo I can get behind. And for reminding me of that, it gets a point, I shall admit. Basically, it moistens down to its very essence, which is sweetness and goodness. That vanilla cookie, sherbety deliciousness that is just... You cannot taste the alcohol. You really can't, but I can taste this. That's some good sweet tea. You can't really taste it. I mean, it's a very nullified flavor. So the tea... So given that the tea itself is very mulled liquor, very mulled alcohol, so you can go down with it and like not get sick like you would with UV apple. The fact that you're getting it with a cookie that is sweet and delicious, you will get drunk if you try to like add it together, which is a good thing if that's what you're going for. Not really what I'm going for. I'm thirsty and this is delicious and just happen to have alcohol. Jeremiah weed. After a while, you'll get that bitterness that, that most alcohol will get you, but starting off, it is very sweet flavor, so that you can actually enjoy your alcohol with sweetness. A cookie, ice cream. It's a good combo. Now I actually remember trying to eat these cookies earlier. I mean, it was hard to chew and all that, and hard to enjoy it. Actually, getting this broken down to its very very basic taste is nice. Again, I'm going to try this with milk. This is good enough right now. I am not a healthy man. So something good with alcohol. Granted, it's already mulled already. I'll try this again in the future with real Jeremiah weed, and we'll see how that goes. For now, take care. I'm gonna get me drunk on cookies. Already feeling it.
Alright everybody, welcome back to the second half of the show. I'm Beretta Darkwolf, and
I'm Ernic the Jackal.
And we didn't really need to say that again, but I did anyway, so I don't care. Because we're a little intoxicated right now. And that's I guess, no, shut up. You know what? No, we're not even going to go there. I would make fun of you, but time and place, and it's called a convention. So, I'm going to move on, and we're going to talk about the subject at hand, which is humanity destined to self-destruct on itself?
Very
good.
Lots of different points you can make there.
I guess I should describe what I mean with this question. And what it comes down to is basically, do you think that humanity will continue to live on? Do you think that we will leave this planet and possibly spread our seed across the solar system? Or do you think that life becomes to a certain intelligence and then ceases to exist and then starts over again?
Well, why stop there? I mean, what if we find a way to transcend the end of the universe itself?
Do you believe that that's possible, though?
I don't know. I honestly cannot tell at this point. Modern science isn't there yet.
But what makes you think, you gotta have an opinion, though, on it. Do you think, like everyone has an opinion? That's what the question is.
I suppose I should say that I like to think so. I think we
would like to
some
believe.
sci-fi.
Because you missed last week's show, and I know you would have loved to have talked about immortality. I know your stance on that. But this is kind of along the same vein. I'm just curious as to, I can tell you my side if that's what you want to hear first. Do you want to hear my opinion on it?
Let's go with that.
Okay. Now, with humanity, I believe that, personally, I can see both sides. I can see us, blowing ourselves up because of the fact that, we can only get so intelligent, we end up self-destructing, and maybe that's why aliens have never visited us, You think if an advanced civilization were to be created, they'd eventually travel the galaxies and eventually run across us, right? And we've had 2,000 or so years where nothing, I guess...
That we've proven.
You can say ancient aliens or whatever, but I guess my opinion of it is, the way I look at it is people are meant to advance to a certain point, right? And if like the planet, like this planet itself is a bigger version of like, let's for example, let's say a dandelion. We're almost like maturing to a certain age. We're getting more advanced. We're blooming, and eventually, I think we're going to spread our seed, which was created on our planet, across the solar system and maybe populate more planets, which is possibly how we came to be. Like, we could have been genetic data from another planet on a rock floating through space that crash landed here, 4,000 or 4.5 billion years ago.
There was some science stating that if the sun ever expands to a point in which our planet would be enveloped in a fiery death,
that's what's going to happen.
By the same time,
that's fact.
There's a couple moons on Saturn, wasn't it, that we were talking about, that would actually become habitable for the same reason our planet would become habitable? I might have actually mentioned
this. Mentioned this in the show. Did you watch that show?
No, I didn't.
Okay, but maybe I mentioned it too.
No one watches these shows.
Shut up, Joe. People watch these shows. Don't diss the show. We're trying to get big. Oh. Stop it. But no, and I doubt the sun will expand at a certain point. Apparently, the type of sun we have will actually expand into a red giant.
See, that's something that I would actually want to watch like a documentary on my own time.
Well, they have plenty of documentaries that you can watch on your own time for that.
On what?
There's no Novas on like Netflix at all.
Well, that would imply I have the computer.
Oh yeah, you have a piece of slag. As you called it a slag though, because it's basically
a hunk of slag. Yeah,
it's a molten.
It's like the hunk of nothing that comes off when you're like smelting large quantities of ore.
Somehow it still works, right? It still operates. You're able to play games.
Loads, Windows, games.
Are unpredictable, right?
Very unpredictable.
Go ahead.
Much like our future.
Much like our... I like how you threw that back. You brought that back to where we were before.
Honestly, that's my stance right now. That our existence here is so fragile that we rely on such... You have entire populations relying on small amounts of people in insane positions of power.
Right.
You have people that could press a button and destroy the entire planet, and boom.
But I don't know. I feel like the only reason so far that life forms or whatever have died is because of an outside event that has caused them to die. You know what I mean? Like I don't think we will. I think we are. It's ingrained in our biology enough to not kill ourselves. You know what I mean?
That would imply that we haven't broken free of the normal model. I feel like we've...
So you're saying we're outside of what we should...
I think we have. We've already gone there.
But, I don't know. That doesn't seem like it makes sense in the logical terms of the universe.
We have to resort to artificial means to obtain food to feed us all, and we still are struggling with that. I mean, in America we're good, but I mean, other countries are... There's incredible amounts of famine and suffering.
I don't know. In my opinion, I think that I'm an optimist. So I believe that good always tries to overcome the negative or the evil, as you could say. You know what I mean?
I suppose I'm a realist in which I would very much like that to happen. I have hope that will happen. I believe that we'll somehow be able to put our differences aside, that America and Russia will settle their ages-old score, and we could all live in harmony.
I thought we did settle that.
Kind of, but it's starting to flare up every now and again. It does.
I know. I've heard about the clock. What's the clock that always is like a? There's a clock, the atomic clock. It's not really the atomic clock, but it's like Linkin Park made an album about it. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like minutes to midnight or whatever it is. And there's a clock that like how many minutes to midnight you're away from atomic. Midnight would be atomic war.
12th hour.
Yeah.
12th hour.
Yeah, it would be atomic war. So like we are 6 minutes from midnight or 8 minutes from midnight or whatever, but
I don't know how do they judge that?
They judge it by the tension. I don't know how they actually calculate the tension.
How many buttholes are clenched?
How many buttholes are clenched at once? I like that. They have a little size meter and they measure. It's like, is your butthole clenched? Yes.
There's an old government scientist guy. Okay, we're gonna measure for the census. It's for the U.S. Census Department.
How clenched is your butthole? Russia does it too, and then they all collaborate their numbers together and decide that we are 6 minutes from midnight.
Well, Russia has to like beat us, so we just like...
We have more buttholes clenched than you. We are more afraid of you than you are of us. So really, I guess the statistics are flawed then, because Russia's going to always try and beat us. But I guess bringing it back, like JT, like Justin Timberlake, like how he brought MySpace back. But bringing it back, I just think that I feel like that we are more advanced than that. And even if we did blow ourselves up, like you hear, like the Babylon kind of theory, like if we were to kill ourselves, the human race would still kind of thrive out of the ashes and maybe rebuild and learn from our mistakes. Like, I think that the ones that are left were smart enough to get through that. So I think eventually we will repopulate and possibly be better than we were.
So the almost like the theoretically inclement nuclear disaster or whatever kills us all, zombies, the sun expanding, whatever.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will, though.
It won't actually kill us all. It'll be like your typical post-apocalyptic movie where you have a handful of survivors that survive somehow and go on to populate the human race.
Well, I've said this before. I don't believe we'll ever have another world war. I think that communication is so helped our civilization. It was actually on the technological thing about I think 2 shows ago we did a show on how technology is negatively affecting, society. Mm-hmm. But it positively affects society in the way that because we have more communication nowadays, I feel that people can relate to somebody further away, and it's interesting to us in a sense, so we can understand them better than we used to. You know what I mean? So I feel that we're less inclined to go to war. Like, I don't think we'll ever have a world war again because of that.
Here's the most likely scenario for a world war to happen. It would be if the U.S. economy completely tanks, which might happen because we are completely incapable of keeping that whole thing running.
Somebody will keep us afloat. Somebody will loan us money.
There's no one else.
Who?
There is no one else.
China has money.
I think China
have money. China has all our money,
but
they wouldn't let us fail. We give them imaginary money, and they use the imaginary money to fuel their economy.
That's what we've been doing for the last 30 years. I think at a certain point they will cut us off.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
And there's enough.
Then what?
Then they trade with Europe and Russia.
No, I don't. They're already doing that though, aren't they?
A little bit.
I don't know. I don't know none of that stuff. I don't know. Like you're the one who probably knows more than I do.
If for some reason the U.S. economy completely crashes and the world is hurled into a deep depression, I think the only country that will survive that are the authoritarian countries like Russia and China.
I just think that the human race over the past 2,000 years has, I can't even say 4,000 years, over the past 4,000 years has just proven itself to be so, resilient. Like, I think that we overcome a lot of.
I hope we will, because I know we have the potential. I believe in human race, but
I mean, you could look at it as, I'm an optimist. I believe that, I really do think that our next effort, when we eventually come to our senses, which I think will happen, is to move towards space travel, like to actually spend more money on the space program and consider populating, like we have to leave Earth. It has to happen. So if we want to continue the human race, we have to leave this planet. And I think people are too self-obsessed right now to really think about the future.
The current model that we run our entire society on, the whole money.
It's selfishness.
We need to almost abandon the monetary system. Almost.
Well, Pam was saying that too, and I don't agree with that either. I don't think we can get rid of that. I think it's so ingrained into our I don't think it's a bad thing.
Or at least even it out a little bit. Because there's too much disparity right now for
even Pam would get along on that subject, because I am not the one to.
I mean, maybe we can make the money continue to work, but money
it has to be distributed, not like communism, but like people need to understand that somebody. Well, you need to understand that somebody who goes to school to work really hard to become a doctor does deserve more money than somebody who's
that's true,
a truck driver.
But I'm talking to people. Well, of course, I'm talking about the super rich, because I mean, like I said, money. The amount of money.
A baseball player should not make $500,000 a year. That's kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like
and politicians that do nothing shouldn't make $300,000 a year.
I just think that I think we'll eventually come to our senses. I don't think that. I feel that the human race is more resilient than to just blow itself up. Because I think that we've proven ourselves for the last 4,000 years.
You're right about that, because we've been slowly moving closer and closer to a better life, a better existence. But you have to understand that there's, like I said, it's fragile. There's always that chance that some random crazy dude gets to, or
somebody drops the nuke.
Or just the financial collapse. If that happens and you have a lot of countries that suddenly become very almost third worldish, really poor countries, America would become a very poor country, or
Do you think that
and we'd have a lot of nukes.
Here's the question though: do you believe that we would all be destroyed, or would just 3/4 of us would be
Probably
destroyed?
Australia would live.
Well, yeah.
Well,
No, that's that joke that's on the internet, the world.
Well,
but I'm saying there would be humans still alive to rebuild. I'm saying it would be Babylon.
well, yeah,
Do you-
they have.
The
they have
question at
bunkers
hand
right
is:
now.
do you think the human race could kill itself off completely because of this?
And do you think that they could survive from that?
To rebuild, yeah. That's really the question. That do you think we will end
That's
ourselves?
almost a logistic
completely?
question. Like,
Do you
do we
think-
have enough
yeah.
people to survive in the bunkers
I
to
think
repopulate?
I think we've populated so much. Like we've got more people on this planet.
And we might have the technology to just clone a whole new fucking race.
Well, you know what though?
That'd be a good.
No,
that'd
cloning
be a
actually
good
cloning
sci-fi
hasn't been
book.
perfected enough. Cloning's actually biologically bad because it's
And there's not diversity in genetics.
yeah,
You need that.
exactly, and that's what.
But
works.
that'd make a good sci-fi novel where the entire human
Your
society
sci-fi novels.
keeps blowing itself up, but then rebuilding itself all over in such a rapid pace.
It'd be different. It'd be a different way each time.
Yeah.
It'd be like scattering. I don't know. I don't know how to describe this. It'd be funny. Like you scatter parts into a new piece of art, or like you scatter like every time you spill the Legos or something, it forms a new creation. And I don't know. It's just that's interesting. It's interesting to me, I guess. I just don't think. I think that even if we did nuke ourselves or something disastrous happen, I don't think it'd be detrimental enough that we won't be able to rebuild. I think if we did, we'll learn from our mistakes at that point. I mean,
I think if we survive the next 500 or so years, we could make it forever, almost indefinitely.
I mean, granted, I'm not saying America won't fall. I'm not saying we won't fail. But I think that people will learn. I think we learn from our mistakes. I think our intelligence is what gets us.
I really hope America does fail, because right now we have too much power. We need a more unified leadership of the world.
Okay, I can
And
see
as long
that.
as one person has all the power, that can never happen.
But see, that's how the human race is built, though. It's built on that, like, our mindset is still primitive. We still think in the leader kind of thing. We need an alpha to run the government, or we need someone to look up to that we can trust for leadership. And the problem is the leaders nowadays don't know what they're doing. Nobody has enough information because there's so much, you could say, shadow government, but like there's like so many different like governments that have their own agendas, to control things, to get more money for their selfish reasons. That
Yeah, they can't keep government money.
the president nowadays, I don't think can really handle dealing. Like he can't.
He just doesn't have the tools.
He doesn't have the tools necessary to handle all that, and it's just kind of, it's scary in a way, because I think that so this bubble will burst, but I don't think it will affect us so negatively that everything will end. Granted, it might affect us really negatively. Like this could throw us into a huge third world situation, or really bad.
That's a really bad thought, because like all the stuff that we love and care about will kind of end for a long time.
Right, but
we'll be in a dark age.
I think that we will build. I think eventually we will learn, and we will travel, to another world. I think we'll eventually, I mean, I can understand someone's point of view saying that yes, we will destroy ourselves. Maybe we will nuke ourselves to almost near death, and then the people won't be able to survive, and we do die off. But I just think the more likely outcome is that we've proven ourselves for the last 4,000 years, and I believe that, the future is the outer space. The future is populating. How do we know we aren't a life form from another planet that was sent here with genetic data?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like
the Bible says.
Oh, the Bible. Right, the Bible says that Jesus came down to forgive our sins because we're terrible.
On his fiery chariot.
On his fiery chariot and burning
With a
bush.
V8.
With a V8. Dude, this shit had a V8?
It did.
Really?
How can
a
you...
sports chariot? Was it the luxury
if
model?
You call
or
that
was
a
it
sport. I mean, it can't really obtain any... I mean, it's got rims.
But it's a sports model, right?
I would say so, but it's like a Grand
It was
Prix.
chromed out with rims, spinners on that motherfucker. You got way too into that. More into it than I was hoping you would. Into the Jesus chariot.
Oh, well, let's go around the Jesus chariot that's like blocking
back to
us.
the subject. I guess, I don't know.
Alright.
Do you have any more to add to that? I'm just
So
curious.
then, how long do you think that the human race can actually survive?
That's a good question. That's based on the assumption that we will destroy ourselves. Though. You mean outside of that? You mean if we left the planet? You think it's what if the human race itself, our genetic data? I guess that's really stretching it. But what if our genetic data, the genetic data that created us, was the natural uniformed way of existence throughout the entire universe?
So we'll end up encountering aliens, but they'll be all pretty much
similar
human.
to us, yeah. And people like to say difference that there's no such like there's this thing called convergent and divergent evolution or something like that. Like I forgot which one means that they evolved. Is it divergent?
Divergent would be away from each other.
You keep talking while I look this up.
Convergent usually means it converges. It goes into a single point.
All right, hang on. I gotta look this up.
So basically, convergent evolution would mean that there's a sort of evolution perfection out there, like the peak of any possible design.
All right, divergent does mean the same. So it's a similar way of evolving.
Oh, then I'm completely wrong.
Wait, it says divergent evolution is the accumulation of differences between two groups, which can lead to a formation of a new species. Usually results in the same species, two different. And I think what it means is like they evolve similarly, separate from each other,
and then become different species, basically.
Yeah. Okay. But they're still similar looking, like aliens and how they'd be similar to us. Pretty sure what that is.
I can buy that.
I can't read all this right now.
I can see that happening.
I had to find this on the fly, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to correct me, fine. I'm just going either it's convergent or divergent. I'm not sure which one. I have no idea.
I mean, we do have some good things going for us, evolutionary speaking. I mean, we have the fingers and the appendages capable of
I hear about
tools.
like there's a lot of people that say if aliens came here, they wouldn't look like us. I'm like, who's to say they won't? Like, how
if something from a different dimension, I could see that. But aliens that are intelligent, they would need certain traits. I feel like they would. They would need some way to manipulate the world around them.
Absolutely.
Which would be the most logical choice would be fingers. If they had some kind of like ESP where they can reach stuff with their mind, now that I guess could happen, but it's highly unlikely. It's improbable.
But let's say then, like, it goes to the saying then, like I was saying before, with the human species, like, how long can they last? Like, what's to say we haven't been lasting? Like, I mean, I think that's where Star Wars came from, honestly. They say in the movies, like, in a time long ago in a galaxy far away. So it's like we existed in this other world which was more advanced than we are now.
But it just kind of blew up, but we still survived because we were just...
It's a great concept, honestly. I love that. Like, when I found out, like, that Star Wars was based off that ancient aliens concept.
Wait, you've seen all the Star Wars movies, right?
A long time ago. It's been 13, 14 years since the last time I watched them. I don't remember anything about them.
Okay, because you mentioned you hadn't seen Indiana Jones, so I was worried there.
No, I never, that was something as a kid I never saw.
I've never seen Indiana Jones.
I'm sorry.
He should be.
No, I'm sorry. It's not one of those to-do list movies that I've put on my to-do list to watch. Like, there's some, like, I just don't care. I've never even seen the new one with the aliens.
Oh, yeah, and you would like that one.
I probably would, actually. Yeah, I'm sure I would, actually. I looked into
You'd be like one of the few people that's like, yeah, that was awesome.
But that's me, because I like crap things that people hate.
You almost said crap. I like crap.
No, I like crap. Ladies and gentlemen, I like terrible shows and movies. Honestly, to be honest though, I really do, because every show I really consider a favorite was canceled.
That means nothing though, because a lot of good shows were canceled.
Well, Mission Hill lasted barely 2 seasons. Clerks lasted 6 episodes. Only 2 episodes were aired, and that's the animated series. Unsolved Mysteries was canceled, but it lasted 20 series, so that doesn't count really. But I don't know, like even Invader Zim lasted 2 seasons and it ended?
About, yeah.
One of my favorite shows. Those are like 3 of my top favorite shows that were all canceled before even 2 seasons were. It's just terrible. It's like there's a lot of good shows that I feel like it's not quick enough humor to get. Like, I'm surprised King of the Hill lasted as long as it did, because that show was amazing.
It was golden.
I'm
every way.
Glad that it lasted as many seasons as it did, because the humor was so subtle. It could not compete with like Family Guy. I guess Family Guy should not have been canceled as early as it did. And then
was Family Guy canceled?
Family Guy started you were too young for this, I think, actually. Family Guy started in 1999, and it lasted maybe 1 or 2 seasons. They ended it because it didn't get the high enough ratings that Fox wanted, and then Adult Swim, I think, picked it up. So they kept airing the reruns, and it got enough fan base to where they actually brought it back to Fox again.
Like Futurama.
Like Futurama, which I think they're ending now again.
No, I think now it's the 3rd time it's been officially canceled.
I don't know.
So they don't actually pay attention to the word canceled anymore. They've actually stopped caring.
We are so off topic now, which is fine, because eventually we're gonna get back to where we talk about nothing. I guess when it comes down to it, I guess we can do a final judgment and then go to that, because this topic really wasn't elaborate enough to. I guess we've kind of come across most of the opinions. At least I understand where you're coming from, and the real question is, do you think that the human race will? Well, okay. We didn't really. I want to address your point, which we didn't do, and that was, do you think that when will it end?
If it, obviously nothing can really last forever. That's just not the nature of things.
It keeps changing.
Or it can be somehow.
You know what? I will say it will end. I think the human race can go on by how I guess far we've proven ourselves, and that's me as an optimist. But it will eventually end, because I watched a video recently about how time itself will eventually, let's say the Big Bang is true, and it happened to
the universe is expanding.
Eventually, that the reason the universe works and currently works the way it was is because that energy is still fresh. It's still everything's bouncing and creating. Let me finish. It's creating heat, and we're currently all active, and everything's going. But eventually, this expansion will cause the universe to cool down and eventually freeze.
Because I heard that
they
decided that it will actually somehow bounce back. It'll go in the opposite direction.
Like a rubber band?
Kind of, yes.
Yeah. And then blow up and start all over again. I've liked that too. I've liked that
theory too. That's the whole idea of cyclical existence. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that if the idea of lasting forever is really dependent on the structure of reality in the universe. If it is cyclical, then maybe there's a way to just continue going in a cycle, just to restart.
But it won't be the same next time it comes around, and that's the sad
unless you
part.
find some
It'll be another explosion of new material.
Unless we find a way
based off the same material, but it'll be jumbled again.
Unless we can find a way to move forward through time, through that Big Bang, and just go to the start as what we ended.
So that's the real test for humans. Millions and billions of years from now.
The final test to see.
So then you'd be God.
We would end up being gods.
That's amazing. That's amazing to think about, actually.
I already believe wholeheartedly that we'll end up at a point where we've genetically engineered ourselves.
You do believe that this will happen. You do believe that we will achieve it.
If we survive long enough, I can almost guarantee you it.
So you are saying that yes, we will.
Yes.
I didn't think as vastly as you did, because in my opinion, I think we will survive long enough to escape the Earth. But I think that because of how evolution works, eventually we will become something that is no longer human. I think that when we travel to new planets, we will have to. I guess what your point comes across is life itself and consciousness, right? You're more or less talking about consciousness itself will survive. Not so much the human species, but consciousness.
Because I do love the idea of
humans.
Not just that, but improving upon original design using genetic engineering. That's a big, pet idea project thing.
Right.
I think that we'll change ourselves to the point where we're pretty much immune to death. We won't, our cells will be able to reproduce at a rate.
That's your thing. I don't think that will happen, though.
Or at least.
I'm not discrediting it, but I don't
now is that we'll be able to use stem cells to completely rebuild our bodies.
You should have been. Honestly, you should have been here on the last show. I would have loved to hear you argue with me about that, because I know we differ in opinions. Because I don't think it's possible. I think it's outside of nature.
I'm one of those, yeah. But
I believe it's outside of nature. I believe that as long as we fall in the laws of nature, and we continue to, what I believe laws are, because laws aren't completely absolute truth. Laws are just, it's happened so many times that it's become proven as fact or whatever. I think that's what the definition of a law is. Mm-hmm. But I literally believe that, if anything, consciousness itself, kind of like what you were saying, that you viewed it as humans, but I think that consciousness itself, if we get that far to allow ourselves to travel through time and to
I think I've actually just
maybe
that theory in my head. Wanna know why?
Why?
Because then wouldn't it have already happened? Unless it did,
Maybe it did. Maybe it did. Maybe the rubber banded effect. It's always just happening. Maybe it's a natural effect of things.
No, maybe it's like you said, like the universe a long time ago in a galaxy far away. That was us from the previous fucking universe.
So we just solved the universe.
And we almost destroyed ourselves. But we're rebuilding slowly back to where we were.
We just solved the universe here, and I've said this before: is the universe itself is meant to just like consciousness itself is just to enjoy things while you can, just to have fun. It's just about having fun. Hey, hell yeah, let's cheers to that. But the real question is, do you think that the human race will survive pretty long? I think we'll go a long way. I think we will survive a nuclear holocaust if it happens. I think that we will move on. I think we'll be able to at least leave the planet, travel to new planets. Granted, if evolution on another planet changes us, if we can survive past all that, hell yeah, I think we are survivors. I literally believe that we will end up getting across the galaxy, and that's my wholehearted hope for our race.
Like I said, I won't really do any real bets on it till like about 500 years. That's going to be the rough point in my head.
I think 200 years, honestly. I think if we make it past 200 years.
200 years, that would be like, yeah, I think
by that. I mean, you see us, everything advances in like an acceleration, so you've seen how much advancement we've had in the last 100 years. So think about another 100 years. You'll live to almost see that.
Yeah.
It'll be so different. You know how different the kids are going to be at that point in time?
The world's going to be different.
It's going to be so weird. You think that old people are scared now? You think that like when grandma goes, what's the Google? You like, I'm serious, like 80 years from now.
Wendy's was offering free Wi-Fi.
No, grandma don't understand what Wi-Fi is. Trust me, 80 years from now, you're going to be so confused. I mean, you really have to keep up with the times and your brain starts deteriorating. And I know you want to hear this because I know you don't want to die, Joe, but when you start falling apart, man, you'll be that crazy old man. And we'll be crazy together, just drinking, talking about the...
Hey, if I do die, at least hopefully my kids
will... You had fun. That's why procreation is important. Because
and maybe my kids will live longer than I do, and I'm passed down forever.
That's what it's about, though.
I can be okay with that. I really think I can be.
Like, part of the reason I would like to have a family, but I would also like to have kids to have my genes go further.
Yeah.
Which I think is the natural thing.
Well, I mean, of course you do. That's what's programmed into our very minds to do.
Unless you're crazy. or more selfish than most people, I guess.
Or selfish, or just... What? There are actually that's actually a good subject. Why would someone not want to have kids? I mean, you could say that the world's just too dark a place. I don't really believe that. I don't think people really believe that either.
No? You don't? I think that some people do, though.
I think that people, what they really mean is they don't think that they can provide for their children a better life than they had.
I guess that's true. Yeah, maybe that's why. Yeah, that might. Yeah, if it comes down to that, and it could be a subconscious thing. You think that people don't want to have kids because they really believe that. You don't think they're selfish, though. You think it comes down to a subconscious thing where they believe they can't actually provide.
It has to be like why like.
So you believe that it's really. Most people would want to have kids, but at the same time, they rationalize it as being selfish.
There's some people that wouldn't want to have kids, like that generally do not like kids.
There's some people that shouldn't have kids. There really are.
There are.
But I mean, I guess there was a question once. It was an OkCupid actually, and it was, do you think that stupid people shouldn't be able to procreate? And
it was should only people with high IQs have kids? I think it was.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And I said no because if I think that's outside of the natural balance of how the world works. There has to be that.
But if you have enough smart people out, wouldn't they be able to find a way to work around it?
Because then there'd still be less smarter people than smarter people, and those other smarter people would want to destroy those other smarter. It just doesn't work. It doesn't. It just would be a
self-destructive cycle. Wouldn't that be a trait of a stupid person? What if that's why?
No, I just think it's bad.
I guess you're right.
Everything goes in waves, dude. Everything goes.
Even smart people can have like super huge egos.
Everything's about a balance, dude. Everything is about a balance, and as long as we have that balance and keep advancing, as long as it's a steady, balance, I think that eventually we will advance to a point where everything is leveled. But there'll still be the negatives and the positives. And I guess there was a status that I commented on once that had to do with like, do you think that? I guess it had to do with equality. And I said, no matter what equality you get in certain areas, like you could say gay rights, transgender rights, or racial rights, anything like that. Like even if you fix all that, people need something to hate. It's in our genetic code to hate something. So
I would use the word improve, but
no, they don't. Like people as a whole, I think, need something to
fight for?
To fight a no.
Is that just
dislike?
is that a current societal thing?
No,
though?
I don't think so.
You think that?
No, I really don't. I think the oddness of the cult, like something scares you. So like, I think no matter if you've improved that, I think that some other thing will come up about people that will scare you. I don't think people are perfect enough. I don't think people will ever be perfect enough.
To me, at first, my first reaction is to say, no, that's wrong. I feel like we could come to a point where we're so open-minded that we can accept everything. But at that point,
I don't think so. I don't believe
would we
that.
find any pleasure in anything? Like, if we're so desensitized where nothing shocks us anymore, then would life be worth living? Where if everything was just okay to us?
I don't know.
Do you think that we need that sort of...
I'm not sure. That's another topic for another show, honestly. Give me a second here. I gotta do something. I'm pretty sure the viewers have been listening to a hum right now because I'm pretty sure I have the camera plugged in to charge the thing. Yeah. So just give me a second here. I'm gonna stand up. You make like noises and shit. The camera's gonna cut off.
Okay.
This is like we run into like errors because like us being still a new show, we kind of make mistakes, and so to say. And
We're experiencing technical difficulties.
if you hear the hum, I'm very sorry. So I'm hoping the music track kind of overlays it. This shit happens.
All right. Well, while he's fixing that,
You
we're gonna
do
play
that.
the game called "How Many Candy Pumpkins Can I Eat?"
How many candy pumpkins can he eat? I don't know if anybody actually wants to count.
I do.
I don't. We're counting them.
No, I'm getting rid of these. I'm hiding these. And I'm
Okay,
gonna,
let's pretend that didn't happen, even though it was clearly obvious. How many candy pumpkins did you eat?
So, I ate all the candy pumpkins.
I'm just sad because like we had that big, awesome discussion, and I'm sure there's like a hum overlaying the back. No, I'm serious. It upsets me greatly, but you
We'll
know.
pretend the hum is the brilliance of our words.
Okay. Yeah,
Given
it's our
corporeal
minds.
form.
It's our mind gears working.
Vibrating the air.
But now you get to hear my cool ass story. But before we go on, I wanna address the how many candy pumpkins did you eat during the quick intermission?
Oh,
random?
I forgot I was supposed to be counting.
It was 2. I counted 2.
I had 1 actually.
If I eat these again, they're gonna hurt my stomach. This is gonna make me upset.
These things are delicious, by the way.
They're all right. Like I like candy corn, and I don't think most people like candy corn. I think that most people think it's like bad flavor, but why?
That one tastes like detergent for some reason. Like it had that aftertaste.
Witz probably licked it. I'm serious. No, there was no Witz one. We don't know. He didn't actually lick it. He just sniffed it a little bit. Well, your house is made of mold, so maybe that's what upsets. This one's got a metal chunk in it.
A what?
There's a metal piece in here.
Is it really?
Yeah. John, what the hell are you doing? Are you kidding me? I'm eating metal chunks. Maybe that's why my stomach hurts.
That is the damnedest. Is there another one in here?
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
What
There's shrapnel in our candy.
That's why my stomach hurts, because you're putting metal in my intestines. I'm not even kidding.
What the hell, man?
Did you have these things at work?
No.
Joe.
These were at home. Unless somehow, like, metal from my work clothes somehow got in the bag.
So what you're telling, what is
But they're
this?
smooshed in.
This stick? What are you doing, dude? What are you trying to kill me? What is this?
Was this in the bag?
I don't
Is
know.
this here?
I have no idea.
Because this kind of looks like the end of like a stick of incense that I sometimes let
Let's
in my
just
room.
leave that over here.
Okay, so
final judgment. Do you think that we will survive? Yes or no?
I'm really
Just as a
hesitant,
human species.
but
Just the question was a human species,
I'm
not
gonna
so much
say-
consciousness.
I'm going to say that we sure as hell have the potential to survive.
I'd say yeah. I think we will. I think we'll go on. I think that we might evolve.
Pumpkins.
Yeah, it's gonna make my stomach hurt. We might advance to a point where eventually we evolve to something else. But I think that as a human race, the human race will go on. I think that yeah, we will survive.
I'm inspired by your confidence, and I
That's me though.
raise my drink to that.
All right, cheers. Cheers on that. But now we're getting to the part of the show. We got, I think, maybe 20 minutes left. 20
Judging by
minutes.
my beer, yeah.
20 minutes left. You drank that way faster than I did. 20 minutes left, and I was going to tell the show last. We just said 4th episode, mild technical difficulties. I hope everyone watching doesn't mind, because like, it just upsets me. I don't like.
Don't
flaws.
worry, I won't mind.
Well, you're watching because you're here, but No, unless you're gonna watch at home, which
Well, the joke was that I'm going to be the only one watching it.
I love myself. You're watching yourself. That's just as creepy, dude. I don't want to hear about you what you do at night watching this show.
I do this.
Well, anyway, putting shrapnel trying to kill me in your candy. Thanks. I appreciate that. That's what made my stomach hurt. I just ate a whole bunch of shrapnel. I breathed enough of that in. You know that? But I just think that I think we will survive. And I was gonna go somewhere. Oh yeah, next part of the thing was telling stories from the past, because last episode I had a funny story that I was telling, and I've told this to you before, but actually what happened was the audio cut out because of more technical difficulties, because we haven't perfected the show yet, and it's better. I mean, we got this cool ass studio here, so I guess that works.
We got me here.
Yeah, Ernic's here, and Pod's here, and it's a whole new area, and we get the best of the best. But no, it's a story. You've heard it before, I'm pretty sure. But I'm gonna go into it. You can tell. I don't know if you have anything from your past. That's you.
I can probably dig something up.
Okay, all right. But I'll tell my story real fast, and we just like to end the show with a lighter note. So the first story I have, Pon told his last week, and mine got cut off. But mine is basically, all right. Let me give you a little scenario here. I was younger, right? And I was probably 17 at the time. I just got my driver's license, it's a probationary license, and in my...
I remember when I got my driver's license, I was really hungover.
Well, you were old too. No, that's a good story in itself as well. But my driver's license was probationary at the time because I was 17. And with a probationary license, you have restrictions on it. Now, with the restrictions, you cannot leave past midnight on any night unless you're going to or from work or to school. So, like, between midnight and probably 6 a.m., like, you're not allowed to be out driving around. I don't actually know how strict the rule was, but they said not after midnight. So, I don't know what that means. But, basically, my friend was at my house, and my brother and I were all watching a movie, and I might have even been Lord of the Rings, actually, and it happened to get late. It was probably 2 in the morning, and at the time, my truck was in the shop. So, I was borrowing my mom's boyfriend's car to get around. So... Anyway, he goes, well, it's time to take me home. And I'm like, yeah, all right, that's fine. I don't care. It's late. And I kind of asked my brother, unwilling, hey, you want to come with us? He's like, yeah, sure. I got nothing else to do. So we hop in this Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme from like the early 90s, like a 90s big boat of a car. And this thing's great. Real great freaking car. Hilarious to drive around in. Had like a hole in the muffler. It sounded like a beast. But 2 in the morning in like a suburb, and I end up driving my friend home. So we're driving up the street, and I'd have to draw a diagram, so it's gonna be on the screen when I tell you it will be, so you can understand where this whole thing kind of went down. But okay, so we pull onto the top of this hill. We turn onto this one side street in a subdivision, and I go, you know what? It's 2 in the morning, and nobody's out. And my brother, who's sitting in the car behind me as I'm driving, I go, hey, Calvin, do you want to drive? And he looks at me and goes, all nervously, yeah? And I'm like, all right, get in the front seat, man. So Calvin, 14-year-old Calvin, is now driving this big car. He's never driven before. When you first started driving, like, you're really, like, scared, and you don't know how, like, the pedal's gonna feel. And this is, let me just put this in place here. This is a neighborhood watch area. I didn't think people actually watched. No, I'm serious. I thought the signs were just there to scare off criminals or whatever. But we were like driving, and Kelvin's jerking around, like he doesn't know like what's happening, and we drive up. So here's like the lot. Like, anyway, it's like a T with like kind of like a baseball diamond shape, and Grant my friend lived on the corner. Yeah. So we pull up and around, right? And Grant gets out, and we say, all right, wait there. We're gonna come around the block one more time and then come up where he is. So we let him out. We say, just wait, and we go up around the corner, right? We drive up here, then we start turning like right onto the other street to come back to North Lane to drive back around again. As we turn onto that street, Calvin driving, I see a car moving really slowly, and then my headlights hit it, where I read the words police, and I'm like, Oh my God. I'm like panicking now because I'm like, my brother's driving. I'm not even supposed to be out this late. I had, they have restrictions where you cannot have more than 2 people in the car other than 1 family member at a time. So I'm panicking. So what ends up happening was Kelvin literally freaks out, gets out of the car, runs around the side and gets in the back. I slide over the driver's seat, or slide over the stick shifter, get into the automatic transmission shifter, get into the driver's seat, and what I should have done was just drove straight casually because it would have seemed less suspicious. But me in my panic state, I pulled into a driveway, backed out, and went the other way. The cop had already turned around and was now following us. And I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm going to lose my license. Oh my God. I'm freaking out right now. Well, anyway, I'm now driving. The cop's right on my bumper, and I'm trying to drive a little over the speed limit, to like be like not suspicious, but I know that he's totally knows we're like suspicious. So we make it to like the intersection where there's a gas station right there. The green light goes on, we go across the intersection, and just as I make it past the intersection, the lights come on, and I'm like, oh no, the cop's got his lights on. Oh damn, I'm like freaking out now, palms are sweaty, I'm like panicking. Pull over to the side of the road, stop the car, and then the cop gets out, comes up to the window, rolls down and goes, license and registration or whatever the hell he says. So I hand him the paperwork and my driver's license. He looks at it, he looks at me, he goes, so what are you doing tonight? And I was like, I just had to drop a friend off, which was not a lie. I did. Mind you, Grant's still standing outside, wondering when we're gonna come around the block again. So I'm like, I'm sure he's like, we didn't have cell phones, so it wasn't like texting me or anything. So I'm like, he's probably wondering where we are. And now this cop's like, well, you seem a little nervous. What's up with that? And I'm like, I've just never been pulled over before, which was the truth. So I wasn't lying. And he goes, all right, well, so is that the guy who I saw get out of the car? And I'm like, yes. That's when I lied. Yeah, that was Calvin.
That was a good lie, though.
And I was like, yes. And he's like, all right. And then he goes to the back window where Calvin's sitting in the back there. And he knocks on it. He goes, what's that? And I go, not like, who's that? He goes, what's that? And I go, that's my brother. And he goes, all right, roll down the window. Calvin rolls down the window because of the crank one. And Calvin goes, hi. And the cop goes, so, does he have any ID? And Calvin goes, no. And I go, no, he's young. And he goes, all right, what's your age, son? And Calvin goes, 15? 14? And then I go facepalm. I'm like, fucking A, Calvin, you're ruining everything. And the cop goes, you don't know your own age, son? And I'm like, you son of a fucking bitch. The cop literally comes back over and goes, all right, listen, just get home. And he hands me my license back, and I go, yes, sir. And I fucking leave. And I was like, oh my God, dude. It's the scariest thing, because I actually forgot to mention this, but he also asked, so whose car is that? And I had to explain it was my mom's boyfriend's, because mine was in the shop, which was the truth. So mostly I told him the truth, except for the fact that who got out of the car.
And that he did the lie for you, mostly.
Well, yeah, I think he kind of knew it was up. Honestly, he probably kind of knew. I don't think he didn't, but I knew that, like, because somebody called the cops. Someone had to.
Just watch, that one cop is actually watching this right now, and you get busted like 5 years.
I'm serious. Like, he had to have known. Like, I mean, it was pretty obvious. I don't know how he didn't see Calvin get in the back, but that was the scariest time I ever had with police in my life, man. It was. I don't know. That's my funny story of my life. For some random. I don't know if you've got something better than that, but
I got the chickens.
The chickens? Your family-owned chickens? Go into that.
Yeah, well, I hate chickens. There's a very good reason for that.
They're a bane of his existence.
Yeah, I don't like them. See, what happened was, and mind you, I don't live on a farm.
No, he lives in the city. He lives in the city of Milwaukee, like,
so
pretty much a lower subdivision.
My mom comes home one day for no particular reason. It was around spring, and she's like, I got some chickens. And we're like, what? Like, we're gonna eat some, like, went to KFC, right? No, apparently what she did, on pretty much a whim, she ordered 25 live chickens off a mail order catalog.
I didn't even know mail order catalogs existed.
Well, not for chickens. I didn't know that, like, that you could order livestock over via magazine.
Apparently you can now. That's the modern age, man.
And actually, they had a deal going, so if you order 25 or more live chickens, for every 25 you order, you get one free rare exotic breed of rooster. I don't know why that's like a thing, but it is.
You get one rooster with a bunch of chickens.
Yeah.
Dozen chickens get a free rooster.
No, it was 25.
Oh, well,
25.
okay. Whatever.
Because we had 25 little, because they were
That's a lot of
babies.
chickens.
They were babies. They're little chicks.
Because
They
you
came,
expect some to die.
they came in a fucking box.
Really? A
Yes.
little egg box? I picture a
No,
little
like a
fucking
box
egg.
with holes. Because no one cares about chickens in this country.
That's
But
kind of sad.
it
That
is.
actually makes me
And
depressed a little
they
bit.
couldn't.
It really does.
They
That
didn't mail it
actually
to the
makes me
house
sad.
because it got held up at the fucking
Well,
post office.
yeah, it was.
Obviously. Because when a box starts clucking, the people start to ask
Questions?
This isn't the pre 9/11 era where you can just mail livestock.
Oh, this is weird.
Oh well.
But go on. Go on.
So she comes home. I think like one of the chickens died because it got trampled to death.
From what? Other
The
chickens?
other chickens, yes, because it wasn't the biggest box.
So it was like the Who party. It was like
So-
the Who concert.
And at this time, I should explain our house a little bit. We had it was like a duplex, but we owned the entire home. The bottom half was remodeled around the Great Depression, so people could rent it out. We could
Right.
rent it out to people.
Right.
And we stopped doing that. I forget why, because it was too much work or something.
Yeah, it would be. I would not want to rent.
And so I ended up getting pretty much that entire downstairs apartment to myself, and I thought that was pretty cool. Up until my mom came home with the chickens and decided that would be where we'd be keeping them. Yeah, so I had to give up my living room that I had all to myself. I was like 15, and I had this sweet
wonder
pet.
why she thought this was a good idea.
I don't know. She's like that. She likes doing weird,
Random, crazy thing. It was
But,
all
yeah.
the acid. All the acid.
She did a lot of
Go
acid.
on.
But so we were the ones who had to make the fucking box where they lived in. She didn't do any of the actual work. She made us, the fucking sons, the children, do all the work for her. So we built this big ass long box, and we had a couple of heat lamps set up. And they were actually pretty cute. At first we kind of liked them. They're cute. They're little balls of fluff that ran around and acted cute. And
So they grew up.
they started to grow up, yeah, and then we found out, our neighbor found out about them because apparently the rooster started crowing. So we had to get rid of most of the chickens. We sent, I believe, 22 of them to the farm. And at
You had
first,
2 left or 3 left.
3 left. Originally, actually, we tried to keep the rooster anyways because by then the rooster had become kind of like a family pet. We named him Pluto. And my brother used him like a parrot. He would put him on his shoulder and,
It's interesting. I mean, most people don't have chickens.
he was a good rooster. I actually kind of like Pluto, but the fucking chickens, like I said,
Assholes.
at first we kind of liked them because they were cute, but as it grew up,
They became bitches.
yeah, they really did. I mean, I guess maybe we weren't keeping the best. No, they had an outside coop. I can't imagine it'd be much worse than how a farm would keep
It was
chickens.
just too much to handle.
Because we had 3 of them.
You guys were.
No, what happened is the chickens would do nothing but poop in their own food, and then it was terrible.
That sounds like a lot of dumb.
Yeah, the chickens are kind of stupid. And then one time,
Chickens are kind of dumb, actually. That's why we eat them. We eat all the dumb animals. You're stupid. We're gonna eat you. That's the rule.
I remember one time, we decided to let them, because we tried clipping their wings, and so we let them out, because we have this fenced-in area, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so we let them out there to, free pasture or whatever the fuck.
Free range.
Free range, yeah, we free ranged them. And by this time we had 3 of them left, and they were about fully grown about that time.
Was that when you didn't think they could fly? I think I remember.
Yeah, no, we didn't think they could fly because we clipped their wings, and so we go out to the movies and we come back, and there's a tree over our driveway, and the chickens were just chilling there in a tree, fucking 50 feet in the air, just kind of
Being chickens.
being chickens, 50 feet in the
Where's
air.
the rooster and all this? You're like, God damn it.
He was being good somewhere else.
Yeah, he was the only cool one.
Yeah, he was. And we had to fucking climb the tree to get the chickens down. And it was
Probably
really...
because the rooster chased him up there. He wanted sex so bad. They didn't give it to him. I don't know. So that's pretty much it then? You had to get rid of him?
Eventually, yeah, the rooster kept crowing and the neighbor tried to call the cops, so we got rid of them really quick. And they went to go live on a farm.
Well, at least they're living the dream.
Yeah.
Let's cheers on the last sip here. All right.
Oh,
Yeah,
one other story about the
Well,
chickens.
you got 4 minutes here, buddy. 4
Alright.
minutes. You got make it fast.
So, yeah, once my brother kind of, for some reason, decided to be a good idea. He had to wake me up because my mom told him to. So he decided, now I could, knock on his door, or I could open up his window and just throw the chickens at him.
Good idea.
He went with plan B. They shat
It's
everywhere.
more entertaining.
They shat everywhere. I had to wash my sheets. It was pretty
That's
terrible.
pretty disgusting, actually. Birds are. I don't.
Well, if you
like
throw
birds.
people, usually they like get scared and like shit themselves. I can
I've
get.
never
I can see-
thrown a person, so I wouldn't really know. I have no idea what throwing.
I'd imagine that's kind of what would happen, but yeah. So
probably
chicken story's over for now.
That's it. We got about 4 minutes left here to end the show.
How do we wrap this up?
We talk about random other things that I don't usually. I don't know how it kind of just flows. And
There's no like fireworks.
We've already no. There's no fireworks. We're not, because we barely could even do the show without technical difficulties, Joe. You think we can afford fireworks?
Well, you have a box. I mean,
I do, but we're not lighting them off in my apartment right now. I know. And I'm out of beer, which sucks because now we gotta deal with 3 more minutes
of no beer.
And that's like, okay, there's drops.
Here. I'll
Pumpkin?
see if I can fit these in.
No, because there's metal shavings in there.
Exactly, that's why I'm getting rid of them.
Well, what are your plans for this next week?
Well, I'm going to be here again, so I'm going to probably go
Yeah,
home.
we're playing CS tomorrow.
Because you meet today in like 12 hours.
Yeah, I know, right? It's Friday. We're doing the show on a Friday. So,
Alright, so
I'm
apparently
really going to
this,
shove that in there.
it's not fitting very well. I think it's like a
Because-
cork right now.
It is.
Very nice,
Sweet sugary cork.
Yeah, that could probably be a thing.
I'm sure. Where did you get those pumpkins?
Just happened to show up.
Are they at your house?
Yeah.
With metal shavings in them.
Maybe my family's trying to kill me.
Maybe I shouldn't eat your pumpkins anymore.
That'd probably be best. I'm just not going to eat these anymore. That's why I'm shoving them in bottles.
I don't know. I don't know how. We gotta somehow. I don't know. We got 3 minutes left. I just am trying to pass it. What? All right. I'm gonna bring this up real quick before we go.
Oh, very important.
Yeah.
Public service.
This
now,
guy's Jackal. It's a Jackal, kind of. It's okay.
I would not call it a Jackal.
It's like a dog thing.
It's like a Chihuahua.
Well, okay, it's like a Chihuahua with a long tail. If anyone out if who's still watching us after all the bullshit, but if anyone is still watching and wants a commission from me, I know I'm not the greatest artist, but I will do a free commission if you find a quality Jackal plush. Like, not the Anubis one.
No, that's not a
because Anubis
Jackal.
isn't even a Jackal, but like a quality plush that looks like a Jackal. I have not found one. I was trying to find one for this man so I didn't have to resort to this. But
we will be doing a free giveaway if you find us.
I will do a commission for you.
We will give you the rest of these pumpkins.
Yeah! We'll give you the rest of those fucking pumpkins.
You
They'll
get
be here
1,
just for
2,
you.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pumpkins and whatever scrap value of metal that happens to be inside.
Yeah, 7 pumpkins and then whatever scrap metal value is inside. Maybe this bottle with this pumpkin in it if I don't throw it out first. And just please find a Jackal plush that actually looks like a Jackal. If you can make one, even better. If it looks like a Jackal, hell yeah.
We might throw in like a T-shirt.
This goes on forever. So if, let's say, a year or two from now, somebody watches our old show and says, hey, this is going, if you find a quality Jackal plush or you make a quality Jackal plush and you are the winner, like, granted, if there's a winner, then you don't win, then I will put that in. But if no one has won, this video is forever. If you find one.
I don't know, I having more than one.
No, I don't want to draw that many commissions.
I could probably do something.
You can't draw.
Yeah, I can't. I really can't.
Let me. I will draw you the winner at 1 commission, but please find this man a good Jackal plush because this is like almost a Beanie Baby, but a Coca-Cola version.
Yeah, it's like
it's sad. But I think we are at the end. I'm gonna see exactly how many seconds we have left here because I know I'm almost out of tape. We have 15 seconds. I would like to say thank you for everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you, Ernic, for filling in for Pond. I appreciate it. This guy's a great co-host, and we will see you again probably in a month. We have another CS night, so
about a month.
Yeah, about a month. So
see you then. Have a great evening, morning, or whenever you are currently wasting your time.
Yeah. Good night, everybody, or good day. See ya.
Enjoy yourselves.
Oh, you're just gonna sit there all fucking stone cold Steve Austin style.
Until the camera shuts off.
Well, it's gonna be 2 minutes.
Well, I can't get up. I'm not wearing any pants. What? No. Why would you do that? No, it's not. You're funny. Looking.